Coach, fourth quarter, you guys run into that fourth down around midfield. You elect to punt it. You guys don't get the ball back. Just what's the thought process for you at that point? Just trying to lean on the defense there?
Yeah, I mean, I think in that situation with that much time left, I think you got to hope that your defense could come up with a stop. And I think we had the guy a couple times in the backfield. We just couldn't get him on the ground. We got to tackle better. I think you got to trust your defense. It's a long fourth and I don't know. I think it might have been 13 or 14. I don't know what it was, but if it had been a little shorter, maybe. But I mean, that's a long 13 or 14, and you give them the ball. Kind of middle of the field there, and they have an opportunity to go down. So decided to punt. Thought it was a good idea to punt it down and make them go the length of the field. Knew we would have an opportunity if we could stop them, to flip the field, and didn't happen. We all got to be better. We got to tackle better. We just got to kind of finish the game out a little bit better on all three phases.
Seemed like there was just a lot of trouble getting the ball in the end zone once you guys got down inside the 20 in the red zone. Was that more on you guys, or was that more what App State was doing on defense?
No, I don't know how many red zone trips did we have. Red zone trips we had. We were 3 for 4. I mean, so we kicked 2 field goals. Field goals been an issue for us. It's been an issue in practice. We got to get it cleaned up. That's an opportunity to put points on the board. I think when you play good football teams, there's going to be times where you got to take a field goal. I think we obviously would love to get touchdowns, but they played good red zone defense. They dropped 8 guys or played red 7, which is everybody kind of dropping back, and we got behind the sticks a little bit on some runs with some lost yardage. Thought we felt good about kicking the field goals and making it kind of a back and forth game, and we just got to convert there.
Coach, you look at there was a stretch from the second quarter until the third quarter in which Ali's kickoff return sort of put your defense in a situation that was on the field for 41 out of 47 plays. Do you feel like that was sort of twofold? It took the offense out of the rhythm that it built and also gassed your defense a little bit?
I don't know about that. We work hard. We condition well. We try to rotate a bunch of guys. I'd have to go back and look at the film, see how they played, to be honest. Didn't appear that way in the moment, but I could be wrong.
On that third quarter, App State comes out, your defense had been on the field a lot, and you get 3 stops. You force 2 turnovers and get a turnover on downs to go up 2 scores. A little bit of a resilient defense right there because they've been on the field so much in the second.
Yeah, I mean, this is a resilient football team. This is a resilient community. This is a resilient university. That's who we are. It was a really good opportunity for the defense to go out and, force 2 turnovers. I think we might have got 10 points off of that, I think, if I'm right. We got a touchdown and a field goal. Is that right? Obviously would have loved to get, 2 touchdowns out of that, but the defense turned the ball over. We got points on the board. It's kind of who we are. It's what we stand for, and that's why I know this team, we'll lick our wounds, hats off to App State. But we're resilient. We'll be back. We got a good football team, and we are not shaken, not wavered. We lost the game to a good football team. It's not a failure. It's a learning experience. We learned a lot from these first 4 games. We call it the foundation setting. We learned a lot from the first 2. We learned a lot from the last 2. Now we got to turn our focus in fixing the things that we learned and improving on the other things that we learned.
You might have already touched on this, Coach, but the red zone offense, obviously that's been a little bit of a bugaboo coming in, and you were able to get some points early, but it seemed like those points, again, sort of twofold. It seemed like the App State defense got just as much momentum out of you all getting field goals as what you got the points.
Yeah, I mean, when you get down there tight, the tighter you get, the less space you get. We tried to run it a couple times and had some overhangs, which did a really good job. I think we did a decent job of converting points, but obviously we want to try and get, touchdowns when we get down there. The tighter you get to the end zone they played a red 7 coverage where they kind of drop everybody back and, had guys off the edge. So we couldn't throw it, which took away some of our RPOs, which forced us to hand it off into not the most advantageous looks. I think the one touchdown there at the very end, Ali ended up running over the extra hat, which you have to do down there. So obviously we got to continue to work on finishing. The best way to have good red zone offense is to score before you get to the red zone while you still have more field. Obviously that's part of it. The other part is once you get down there, you're going to have to be running it versus non-advantageous looks where you're going to have, an Ali run a guy over. You're going to have, a lead blocker for the quarterback. You do that versus good teams. Running back may win some of those, he may not, so we'll continue, to be aggressive down there. We didn't want to put the situation and, we didn't want to put the game in a situation where we made a bad throw down there or, we felt we could run the ball enough to at least get points. And so we'll continue to work on it.
Coach, it seemed like they were really keen on shutting down Corey Gamage tonight. But the other side of that is that it seemed like it allowed Grant to get guys like Shadid Ahmed and Xavier Gaines more involved in the passing game. Just how good to see him be able to go through progressions and start finding other guys to get big plays.
That's what I've seen since I got here. I can't speak for last year or whatever it is, but that's what I've seen since I got here. The offense is set up to where all you got to do is react to what the defense is doing. If they're taking away Corey, you progress through progress through your reads, and other guys are going to get the ball, and those other guys got to be prepared to execute when the ball comes their way. And I think Grant's doing a really good job now of, patience. He's doing a really good job of seeing the defense happen before the ball snaps, so he can kind of anticipate a little bit. And then the other guys are doing a good job when our opportunities come, they're executing.
Coach, on defense, and a couple defensive mistakes. How do you guys try to address that in the next week? The defensive, try to clean up the defense a little bit.
Yeah, number one thing is we got to tackle better. That's just flat out execution. I don't have the exact stat sheet, but I would bet we missed 15 or 20 tackles tonight. That's just guys in place. You got to execute. It's kind of like throwing the ball, to an open receiver. He's got to catch it. I think there are some things that we can do, to move some guys around. We got some guys that are limited. I'll use that word. So we got to move some guys around to try and get the best guys out there. But it's going to come down to execution. We got to tackle. There weren't too many times tonight where there was just a guy completely running wide open or, completely just, not covered or, running through a lane where there was nobody. We got to tackle, we got to finish. And those are the two things we'll focus on moving forward.
Anything else?
Well, I appreciate you guys. I want to definitely say I appreciate all the fans that made the trip down here. That section up in the upper deck there full of green was a comforting feeling to our guys again. Appreciate everyone that made it. We'll continue to get better. We'll continue to work. A lot of season still ahead of us. One game does not make or break our season. But this community, this fan base, this football team is resilient, and that's what it's called to do now. We've hit adversity. Adversity either makes you better or it sets you back. I strongly believe that Marshall University, Marshall Community, Marshall Football Program is going to make us better. It's what it's done in the past. It's what it'll do moving forward. So thank you guys. Look forward to seeing you next week.